What is going on, fight fans? Archangel bringing you guys my review of EA Sports UFC 2. UFC 2, for the lack of better terms, is a $60 roster update, much like a lot of EA Sports games, but with, new, air quotes, controls. The new modes aren't all that interesting, unlike both FIFA and Madden's Ultimate Team. Once more, EA fails with making an engaging or interesting Ultimate Team, much like its NHL Ultimate Team, which also is not that interesting at all. Visually, the game is like other EA Sport games where there really isn't a graphical upgrade compared to the predecessor of the game, aside of like minor details, bruises, and cuts. But there's no real graphical change between this game and the previous UFC title. But that isn't really a bad thing, since the first EA UFC game was graphically astonishing compared to sport games as a whole. Now, there are over 250 fighters in this game. That includes variants, meaning Conor McGregor's in like 4 divisions, meaning there's 4 Conor McGregor's added in with that 250. So that does mean means multiple fighters in each weight division. So when you see 250 fighters, it doesn't mean that there's 250 individual fighters. There's 250 including copies of fighters in each weight division. Now, I was actually surprised with the fighters they have in this game. They have Neil Magny in the game, the Karate Hotties in the game, they have Uriah Hall in the game, Michael Chiesa. There's a lot of, not as huge name fighters in the game, which is a good thing. The more fighters, the better, and it's also just good in terms of growing fighters like these lesser known fighters. In terms of popularity, because people will use them and learn their moves and start to like them, want to be interested in actually figuring out who they are in the real world. Gameplay wise, this game is a mixed bag. The striking is great, more polished than the previous game. The transitions look great. You can even switch up your submissions midway from one cell to another, but there's always a problem somewhere. And the problems in this game is the controls. The controls on the ground and the controls in the clinch have these little awkward pauses when you're trying to perform moves. In previous games, you just rotated the right stick a little bit to be able to hit and perform certain moves that you wanted. Not this time. You have to hold the right stick in a given direction to perform moves. Doing this isn't really smooth or fast. It takes a few seconds, making for an unrealistic pause in the game. Much worse is that when you are doing this, your opponent is not waiting for you to actually do your move. So while you're holding the right stick in position until the circle completely gets around, your opponent can still hit you. The game also has pretty wonky hitboxes, as in you can miss hits but still land them at the same time. I knocked out Dominic Cruz with hitting Barral with a flying knee that grazed his shoulder, and he went to the ground like a sack of he got sniped by a sniper rifle. At TKO, Rousey would hammer fist while just punching her in the shoulder. So some of the camera angles make it look like you're not actually hitting the fighters at all, but they're getting damage done to them. So it's a little wonky. There's some things that need to be smoothed out and patched out. Overall, I think it's a very good game. Yes, it has the things that yes, it has things that need to be patched out and fixed, but the game does a great job of capturing the atmosphere of the UFC and delivering the sensation we want in playing a sports simulator. It's a very fun game. It's a very good game. It's gratifying to knock out fighters like Mike Tyson or submitting with Royce Gracie. So yes, I do like the additions of the fighters like Bas Rutten and Bruce Lee and Tyson. It's fun. And that is all that matters, right? All that matters when it comes to these games is, are they fun? This is a fun game. I do recommend, if you are a fan of MMA, if you are a fan of combat sports, if you are a fan of the UFC, if you're a boxing fan and you've been waiting to play like a fight night game, at least to this extent you can play with Mike Tyson. So you have that, and he is, again, really fun to play with. I do think it's kind of shady and a little cheap that there's fighters you have to actually pay for separately. You have to pay for the shaved head Mike Tyson. You got to pay for Bas Rutten in other divisions. You got to pay for Sakuraba in other divisions. You got to pay for Bruce Lee in other divisions. You got to pay. So there's these. Now, if you got a pre-order, you don't have to do that, or if you had the deluxe edition, you have to do that. But if you don't have those additions, if you just bought the game today or tomorrow, whatever it may be, you won't be able to play with those fighters unless you spend another $2 to get them individually. So I don't really like that. My score for EA's UFC 2 is a 7 out of 10. It's a good game, an asshole of fighters, but wonky controls holds it back from being better than the first title. I don't like I said, when you're just sitting there, you're holding a button to the circle completely makes a circle. It just makes an awkward pause in the fighting, and it also opens you up to being struck by your opponent. That's it for me, guys. Thank you all for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Peace out.